Here's something nobody tells you. The single most valuable skill in AI just quietly changed its name and its whole job. For 2 years, we called it prompt engineering. The best builders now call it context engineering. For those 2 years, the craft was wording it right. Find the magic phrasing, add the role preamble, say things step by step, and just hope the model behaved. It all lived in one string of text. You are an expert. Think step by step, be concise. You hand-tuned that string, fed it in, and prayed for a good answer. That was prompt engineering. But as the models grew up, the real question changed. It stopped being, how do I phrase this? It became something much bigger. What does the model actually need to know before it can even answer? In mid-2025, Shopify's chief executive Toby Luke put a name on it. He called it the art of providing all the context for the task to be plausibly solvable by the model. He called it context engineering. Andrej Karpathy agreed within days. He described it as the delicate art and science of filling the context window with just the right information for the next step. And the term stuck. So let's get concrete. What is context, really? It is not the prompt. It is everything the model sees before it answers a single word. Get this part wrong, and the smartest model on Earth will still fail you. LangChain sorts it into 3 buckets: instructions, knowledge, and tools. Get those 3 right, and the model has what it actually needs to succeed. Zoom in, and there are 7 kinds: the system prompt, the chat history, retrieved documents from search, the tool definitions, long-term memory, the user's actual question, and the output format you want back, all of it packed into one window. Karpathy has a clean mental model for this. The language model is like a CPU, and the context window is its working memory, its RAM, a small, precious space that you have to load by hand. And here is the real shift. You do not write context once. You assemble it fresh, every single step, a brand new window, built for each call the agent makes. So what forced the change? 3 things: agents that take many steps, tools that pull in data on the fly, and long, open-ended tasks. Suddenly context got big, dynamic, and messy. Now you would think bigger windows quietly fixed all of this. 1,000,000 tokens sounds like nearly infinite memory. But it turns out, it really doesn't. In some cases, it actively makes things worse. The windows genuinely did explode. Gemini and GPT reached 1,000,000 tokens. Claude offers up to 1,000,000 in beta. That is up from just a few thousand 2 years ago, but more room did not mean better answers. There's a name for what goes wrong here: context rot. As the window fills up, the model's recall quietly falls, even well below the stated limit. Anthropic put it plainly. As the number of tokens in the context window increases, the model's ability to accurately recall information from that context decreases. It's a gradient, not a cliff. Chroma Research tested this across 18 different models. They held the task fixed and only grew the input. Accuracy still dropped every time. 1,000,000 token window cannot actually reason across 1,000,000 tokens. And there is an older finding sitting underneath it all. Models use the middle worst. Bury the key fact halfway through a long context, and the model quietly loses it. So why does this happen at all? Because attention is a budget. Every single token competes for the model's focus. Fill the window with noise, and the real signal starves. It is baked right into the math. A transformer links every token to every other token. That is n squared. Double the context, and you quadruple the relationships it has to track. So context does not just get watered down, it actively breaks. Drew Brunig cataloged exactly how in 4 distinct, named failure modes. Each one wrecks the answer in its own way. Number 1, poisoning. A wrong fact slips in and then gets cited again and again. 2, distraction. The model overfocuses on its long history and forgets its training. 3, confusion. Irrelevant junk drags the whole answer down. 4, clash. New information directly contradicts what is already there. The numbers are genuinely sobering. Databricks found one huge model's correctness starts slipping around 32,000 tokens, long before the window is anywhere near full. They call it the distraction ceiling. Confusion is just as real. On one benchmark, a model handed 46 tools failed the task outright. Cut that down to 19 tools, and it suddenly worked. Fewer choices, better calls. And when you scatter a single request across many turns, performance falls off a cliff. One study saw an average 39% drop. A top model fell from 98 all the way down to 64. So you stop just hoping, and you actually engineer it. Not more context. The right context. Think of it as budgeting attention, not just filling up space. Here is how the very best agents do it today. LangChain names 4 core moves. Write, select, compress, isolate. 4 different ways to manage that window, but one shared goal: keep it clean. Move 1, fetch just in time. Do not preload everything up front. Keep a lightweight pointer, like a file path, and pull the real data only at the exact moment you need it. Move 2, when the window fills up, compact it. Summarize the older turns. Drop the stale tool output. Then keep right on going with a much lighter load. Clearing old tool results is one of the safest tricks of all. Move 3, give the agent a notebook. Let it write structured notes to a file outside the window. That external memory survives, even when the live context gets wiped and reset. Move 4, hand the messy work to subagents. Each one explores in its own clean window and returns just a tight summary, maybe 2,000 tokens. The main agent never sees the mess. And a beautifully simple one: load only the tools you actually need. Pick a small subset for each step. Remember, 19 tools beat 46. Now, not everyone agrees on how. Cognition, the team behind Devon, says at the core of reliability is context engineering. Their rule: share the full trace and keep it all on one thread. Anthropic pushes the other way. It reports its multi-agent research beat single agents by over 90% on some tasks, by giving each one a clean, isolated window. So the debate is still wide open. But step back and the pattern becomes obvious. This was never really about prompting at all. It is about designing a system that feeds the model, carefully, every single call. The prompt is just the last mile. That is how the whole discipline grew up. Prompt engineering was wording one clever string. Context engineering is designing the entire pipeline that builds the window. And look at everything that now involves: retrieval, memory, evaluations, pipelines. It looks exactly like real software engineering, because that is precisely what it has become. You version it, you test it, you monitor it. Simon Willison said the name stuck for a reason. Inferred definitions are the ones that last. Context engineering describes what practitioners genuinely do all day long. So the practical takeaway is simple: audit what is actually in your window. Every token has to earn its place, or it is just expensive noise. Ask yourself 4 questions on every call. 1, is this token really earning its place? 2, would a fresh, empty window do better here? 3, can I fetch this later instead of right now? 4, what can I safely summarize away? Because the real truth is this: the best prompt is a whole system. The words still matter, of course, but the system that surrounds them matters far more. Get the context right, and the words almost write themselves. So aim for the smallest context that actually works, the fewest high-signal tokens that reliably get the job done. Nothing more, nothing less. Prompt engineering grew up. It became context engineering, and context engineering is systems design, full stop. The name changed because the job did. If that reframed how you think about building with AI, subscribe. This is Naman AI, where we decode the tools before you need them. Less prompting, more systems. I'll see you in the next one.